It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across the USA and around the world, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome to a Friday. Woo! What a week, huh?
It's been wild.
Every week is crazy right now.
It really is.
But you look at this here as we end the first week of June, not far from summer. School is almost over for everyone in the nation. I think in the Northeast and other parts, they go for another week or so. I know in New York, my great nephew still has a few more days of school, and then we're to the summer. And we've stated this a while back that, you know, what you look for in any presidential election is once you get to the summer to have the momentum, because then things go quiet for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They won't this summer, though. It looks like they're not going to, especially with Trump to be sentenced on July 11th and the debate coming up, a very early debate by the end of June. And so, but what you want, and we had stated this all the time, because when the Republicans decided to have the impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden, and we had Republicans even calling us up saying, well, we're being told they may not impeach. I go, well, they're not going to impeach. The last thing they're going to do is, if they have an advantage, which I believed even they did at that point, because Biden is such a weak president, what they're going to do is use that to investigate and to bring you closer and to be able to throw at people every day as just part of your political assault on the incumbent that you normally do. This is just going to be another part of the assault. And you saw that 2 days ago when they put the criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. Now, one of the things that they did that was the same day that I believe Merrick Garland testified, and they were saying, you know, you favor the Bidens. And then it came out, okay, here are the criminal referrals. Will he be honest? Because obviously, and we'll play James Comer in a little bit, there's so many pieces of evidence that they lied in front of Congress, both Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, in order to hide, you know, the family's wealth that they acquired through influence peddling. The Democrats really can't, on the issues, defend any part of it. Now, whether they've proven there were actual bribes or have evidence of bribes or just plain old influence peddling, it really doesn't matter to the American public. They don't like that.
Right.
And so that's just part of the political assault, the political attack that you put on your candidate. All the others that have been going on, I mean, I think probably in their wildest dreams, Republicans didn't believe that they would be in this position right now with an incumbent president.
Right.
And you have Trump being the conviction. Every single day that goes by, you're just like, whoa. Then you see the polls, you're like, that's having no effect on the polls. In fact, as you were just had stated, it looks like, you know, and I think I brought it up last hour or the hour before too, Trump looks like he's moved forward another point or two, you know, to his advantage. So you have all of that. You have, what else came out here? What else am I looking at? What else came out this week? The laptop. We know on the laptop that it was all lies by the Democrats and the media.
Yep.
From October of 2020 until now. And now they're quiet. They just won't respond to it. But the fact is, Republicans are pounding. They were wrong on that. 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 And then you also bring Fauci in. And Fauci testifies. And everybody knows what Fauci was doing. Everybody knows he was not playing doctor. He was playing bureaucrat. And some of the things he did that now he doesn't wish to take responsibility for are just reprehensible. But the problem for Fauci is You got him on tape saying one thing and then saying the exact opposite. And now trying to say, well, you don't understand. There was a nuance, blah, 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 blah. Sorry. People's lives were changed, some destroyed.
Yep.
There were hundreds of thousands, maybe in that time, millions, because how many was it? 2 million people die a year in the United States? Mm. How many in that first year, 2 years maybe, could not go to one of their loved ones' funerals?
Right.
You think about that. I was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
I had to watch my mom's funeral online.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm okay because I know what my mother would have said to me. But still, I wanted to be there with my father, and I couldn't be.
Right.
I wanted to be there with my siblings, and I couldn't be.
Yeah.
And I know how many other people went through that. I know how many people's lives were changed. I know what happened to the education of young kids and the reprehensible things that the teachers union did with full cooperation of the Biden administration. Keep schools closed for as long as they did.
Yep.
And then we've seen everything that has happened with the FBI and, you know, the radical transgender movement, the critical race theory. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
See the article about it's like, man, Black Lives Matter. They're a shell of themselves. They're going down the tubes. I think somebody in National Review wrote all the big names from 2020 and how they made their money, cashed out. Now they're gone.
Yeah. It's surreal to think about what has happened just over the last 5 years.
I know.
If you put a timeline together with all of those stories and just take a good 10 minutes with each of those stories, it's just weird. It's just bizarre. And
I think the last month with Biden still blaming, you know, corporations for the inflation and saying people are stupid basically and don't recognize what's really happening. I think him doing that, I think that what he did, where everybody knows on the border he's not going to do anything, I think that sort of may end up being, we'll wait to see where the polls move in the next couple of weeks. But to me, it's almost spitting in the face of Americans. But after they've pathologically lied and said the border was secure, if there was ever a story or an issue where a political party and a president has attempted to completely make a fool out of the public and treat the public as if they're complete and total idiots who have no idea what is going on, and the fact that you can see on the screen insanity at the border, insanity in the major cities, and the president and his Secretary of Homeland Security saying, no, the border's secure. Everything's fine. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What you're seeing really isn't there. And they're doing that on everything. And these are things that people feel they can see.
Right.
These are things that are self-evident. And that's the difference with this administration. Things that are self-evident to people, they deny. And that's when you get into the whole gaslighting. Because you know what the truth is. They tell you it's not the truth, and then they chastise you or try to make you feel like an idiot, like, what the hell? You don't even know what's going on, as you see it with your own eyes, and you know what's going on.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done, I think, to this intensity in my lifetime where I've seen it like this on every single issue. And that's the problem that the Biden administration has right now. I don't know. Tell me one positive thing that Democrats get to promote right now to make you vote for Biden. And then Biden's problems, his cognitive issues keep coming up, even if things happen that people may say, well, they're reported by social media, maybe not even by conservative media outlets, and that happened yesterday. And I'm looking here at the Daily Beast. And when you see this, you go, uh-oh, they know it's a problem, his cognitive problems. Maybe nothing happened, but it doesn't matter. This went viral on social media. Here's from the Daily Beast. The video shows Biden did not, in fact, poop himself in France. I don't know what happened there. He seemed lost on a bunch of things, whether he was trying to sit down, whatever.
A couple of possibilities. I think that one of the things that is a strong possibility here is that there was a chair that was behind him, further behind him than he thought. I think he was tired and wanted to sit, quite possibly, again, a possibility, that he wanted to sit down, and he was looking to sit down and thought the chair was right there. But it was a few feet away.
And that one, that went viral on social media. And
well, because
as we know, incontinence is can happen when you have dementia, as we know.
And that's the problem that, this is what the Daily Beast points out. Very liberal publication for those that don't know. When they point out, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, it went all over social media. You and I have been talking about this. These moments, the White House can say whatever they want to say. Oh, it's fine. Behind closed doors, everything's great. Scarborough. I mean, whatever they want to float, they can float. Social media tells the story. Perception is reality. I don't know what people believed happened. It doesn't matter. The fact that it was viral. It looked odd either way. Whatever he was trying to do looked odd. And then him walking out in, again, the robotic fashion, his wife taking his hand and leading him away as Macron has to go back and do the handshaking for the veterans that are there. He just he basically runs over there to pay his respects to those veterans who traveled all that way to be there on that day. And Biden's wandering off and seems to be out of it.
So as we get to the time of summer beginning, the next question we have is, with everything right now in the Republicans' favor, how do they blow it?
Well, we talked about it. If Trump is outperforming a number of Republicans in certain states, there's already a problem. Yeah. You're already blowing it, right?
Well, that would be, are we picking again? Remember, are we picking the right? Is the party picking the right candidates to run for Senate and Congress, or are they?
Are we looking at a situation
are they putting in odd people again?
Right. Or are we looking at a situation where that sympathy for Trump that has been, for a lot of people, maybe gained through the whole lawfare thing, is like, yeah, no, I definitely want to give him my vote, but in the Senate race, I'm going to go a different direction. I don't know. And could it be that Democrats are saying we want to send a loud message in the presidential race, but on the Senate race or in the House race or whatever it is? It's just weird if it turns out to be the case that he outperforms a number of GOPers on the ballot, on the down ballot. Man, there's going to have to be some work to be done to find out why that was the case. Carrie Lake is in trouble in Arizona. She's not trending better. We'll see what happens as we get closer to November. But she's not, there's been nothing that's giving her any renewed momentum. Again, that can change.
And I don't know. I can't tell you whether it's, the last election. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't see the news reports every day.
Right.
It's very tough to get a handle on it, and I don't want to pretend I know and speak from ignorance on it. I can read, most, as you can, we can read what's going on in most, federal elections. If some election becomes viral nationally, but the Gallego thing really hasn't yet in Lake.
Right.
At least for me, I'm not sure why he is in the lead when the people overwhelmingly of Arizona want the border closed.
Right.
So whatever your thoughts of Carrie Lake would be, she would agree with Trump on the border, which is a huge issue in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I claim ignorance on why that race is the way that it is.
Yeah, for the most part, I do too. I just don't see. I don't get it. It could be again that there's Carrie Lake is failing, and as a candidate, she's just not getting the job done. I don't see how that's the case if she's on message with what Trump is on message with. That doesn't seem to jive. So I don't know.
And again, until, like I said, you start doing the likely voter polls really August, September, and then everything is likely voter. Mm-hmm. At that point, we'll have a better idea, I think, of where the momentum is. I still think that without any Fed cuts and the realization by the time it gets to October that none of this is going away, and the inflation is still there and the border is still crazy, I still think the advantage would be the undecideds, break for Trump and break for the Republicans. I can't see that staying the same. I don't know how anybody could look at the Senate or look at Schumer, because that's what people look at. They say the Senate's run by Schumer.
Yeah.
And that's the identity of it. Could look at Schumer and say, that's the way I want the direction of the country to go.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Right.
And then his problems with, his anti-Semitism.
Right.
I guess because he's Jewish. I can't figure it out. It doesn't make any sense.
Nobody can.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
As communities in urban forest interface areas prepare for potential wildfire threats, one tool that can assist is USDA Community Wildfire Defense Grants. Brad Simpkins of the U.S. Forest Service says the latest round of such grants have been awarded.
We pushed out about $250 million for round 2, and that funded 158 applications out of those 535. Funding actually went to 31 different states, 11 tribes, and 2 territories.
This is year 2 of the Community Wildfire Defense Grant Program, and its focus on wildfire response plans is part of the National Cohesive Wildland Fire Management Strategy and aligned with the National Climate Resilience Framework.
It's really meant to do things before a wildfire starts. It's how do you decrease fuels, create fire breaks, prevention, etc., to get ready and try to mitigate the risk before the fire ever occurs.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Yeah, the debate's really going to be interesting. The debate now, the debate in September.
Yeah.
Will that be on Zoom?
I really question if they're all going to happen.
And I say Zoom because I'm saying Trump in jail.
Right, right. Well, that, or the fact that Biden can't make it.
Here's a question: Do they not file anything for an appeal until not after the conviction, but after he is sentenced? Is that why we've seen nothing in 8 days? Nobody's talked about what the process is of what he should. They've talked generally what the process would be of appeal, but when does the appeal start?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they filed yet or not.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
It's Friday Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, we never got to this. Just so many things this week, and I want to make sure we hear from the actual, well, I don't want to say horse's mouth, but that's
careful.
That's the phrase. No, this is James Comer, and I didn't say that as an insult. It just, but James Comer here talking about the criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. Now, the other reason they're doing that is so they can hold that over the Department of Justice head. Right. If they don't come back with criminal referrals, or they say there's no evidence here to prosecute Jim or Hunter Biden on this, then the Republicans are going to use that. As we stated all along, very early on, we told Republicans, Republican voters who were just saying, all right, they're going to impeach him. We said they're not going to impeach him. The last thing they're going to do is try to impeach Biden. It's the worst thing that you could do right now is try to impeach Biden. Everything. The goal is to win the presidency, not to impeach Biden.
Yeah, right.
That's not the goal. The goal is to run against a very weakened president, which they're doing right now. Yeah. And so we said all they're going to do is gather as much information and pound it all the way through November. And so even the criminal referrals, who I believe Comer, the evidence that I've seen, he has them both lined before Congress.
Yeah,
lying in their depositions. Right. He's got them, and so he can present that. It's just another little part of the Republican assault against the Biden administration and Democrats in general, and simply say if he does not refuse to do it, see the Department of Justice and the AG, he's crooked.
Right.
He's biased. It's a two-tier system of justice. That's what they want to continue doing. So he was asked yesterday by Laura Ingraham, basically, what's the case and what does he have in the filing of the criminal referrals. For some reason, that phrase, criminal referrals, just doesn't stay in my brain. And I'm okay. I'm thinking clearly. I want to make it clear.
All right.
I don't have any cognitive problems.
All right.
Only once in a while. All right, here we go.
Well, Hunter Biden committed perjury. He lied. In these criminal referrals, we backed him up with 60 pages of hard evidence. And if you look at the statements from Hunter Biden's lawyer and the Democrats in Congress, no one's disputing that they lied. So lying to Congress is very serious. What Hunter Biden lied about, number one, he lied that he had any association with one of his LLCs called Rosemont Seneca Bohai. This was the company that most of his Ukrainian money flowed through and his Kazakhstani money flowed through, that he got the brand new Porsche, all while Joe Biden was vice president. He also lied about that WhatsApp message that he got from Zhao. He said it was another Zhao. But there was evidence that we submitted that showed this text message went on for a long period of time. And the next day, he got a $100,000 wire, and a few days later, he got a $5 million wire. This is the WhatsApp message where he said, my father is sitting beside me, when he was extorting the money from the Chinese national. Now, why would Hunter Biden lie about that, Laura? Because he was protecting Joe Biden. Joe Biden was the central figure in the family's influence peddling ring. We got Jim Biden for lying about his meeting with Tony Bobulinski. He said under oath he never met with Bobulinski. Well, Bobulinski said under oath that they did meet, and he provided text messages to prove they met. And then Hunter Biden testified under oath that that Tony Bobulinski met with Joe Biden. So we've got Jim Biden and Hunter Biden for lying. In both instances, they lied to protect Joe Biden, the big guy.
There you go. And that's what you're going to see them pound over and over again. When we broke it down, that was even extremely damaging, because what Democrats were saying is Joe Biden didn't know anything, that Hunter was basically a rogue son doing all this. And we said, well, then it's not just a rogue son. What you're saying is, and this is from the Democrat point of view, we don't even know if they understood they were communicating it.
Right.
Was what you're saying is Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, and the entire Biden family were using Joe Biden's name and lying to foreign adversaries, saying that Joe Biden could do them favors. You took the money from these foreign adversaries, distributed through a bunch of bank accounts and LLCs, fake corporations, to keep the money stealth, going to all different family members, and Joe was completely unaware of this. So the entire family was betraying the president, using his name and implying to foreign adversaries that he would do them favors, pay for play, bribes, that Joe Biden would take bribes. The entire family, this is the Democrats communicating this.
Right.
This is their stand. I don't believe they knew they were communicating it when they said it, but when they said, no, this was simply, the Hunter Biden was just a rogue son taking money and using his family's name. No, it's more than that, because Jim Biden was involved, and so was the entire family, because we know.
We got the bank records.
All the bank records, the bank accounts, the LLCs, all lead to what? Was it 9, 10, 11 members of the family? And so they all knew. So this entire loving family that they talk about is basically Joe loving them and all of them betraying their father.
Yep. I don't think they understood what they were saying, but based on the evidence, if that's your position, you're saying his entire family worked without his knowledge.
Right. And that was their fallback position.
Right.
That's their best defense.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Now, do I believe that Joe Biden had no idea? No, because he's already lied over and over again about what he did know and has moved the goalpost time and time again. So,
yeah.
No. And plus the $40,000 into the Biden bank account.
Yep.
We have a money transfer. So that's what Republicans are going to bring this back up again. And it's going to be fresh in the minds, because a lot of people over the last couple of years, there's this. Where's it going? Whatever. Mm-hmm. They lay it out again in August, lay it out again in September.
Yep.
Laid out influence peddling.
Yep.
Joe Biden has taken money. His family has enriched themselves. It's all a part of the overall assault. And then you've got inflation that's still out of control.
Yep.
You've got the border still out of control. And you throw all of this stuff at him. And then on top of it, the fact that his cognitive abilities, where he's too old to be president. I did see somebody wrote on social media, I think it was on the National Review Facebook site, was like, somebody wrote, is this like ageism against the president? It's like,
yeah.
It's like,
yeah, right.
Is this ageism?
Yeah.
It's like,
no, it's realism when you look at right now what everybody can see. We're wondering about the debate. I'm wondering about the next couple of weeks. Sending the president over to France, sending him anywhere internationally. There's going to be, he clearly physically cannot handle those kind of trips. And people are saying it. So now with all the Hunter stuff coming down, and criminal referrals, there is reason to believe that crimes were committed here. They lied under oath. We'll see what the FBI does about it.
Yeah, I don't expect to hear anything on this.
No.
They also have the special counsel looking at Hunter and Joe.
Right.
I don't expect any of that before the election.
No. No, but it's important that the story be told, and that's kind of what's happening here. It really isn't about the impeachment of Joe Biden. It's about telling the story.
It's about telling the story and make it a part of the entire political assault against your opposing candidate, where there's nothing good. Because think about it, and I asked the question earlier, tell me something positive that they can convince the American public on to make people change where they are right now. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what changes between now and November 5th, except for more people realizing what's going on and waking up to reality, and that favors Trump. I don't know that Trump gains more numbers, but if more people decide to stay home on the left, that does favor Trump, and it may not be reflected in the polls. Voter apathy, you're not going to show that, but it could be a big game changer in November.
Well, as we say, we don't take one particular poll, but if you take all the average of the polls, Trump wins right now.
Yep.
He wins because he's got the battleground states.
Yep.
Whether he gets the majority of the popular vote doesn't matter.
Right.
If the polls are right, Trump wins if the election is held today.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, what would cause it to change? One of the things that we thought that would be earth-shattering would be if Trump was convicted. Now, that was a mindset of maybe 6 months ago. Now we know that isn't the case.
Right.
People understand lawfare. The Democrats are passionate to say, wait a minute, the jury has made their decision. The court has made, this is a rule of law. Biden was out there yesterday, and people look at it and say, you're saying that only politicians can be crooked? We believe that DAs and judges can be crooked.
Yeah. Well, the fact that some Democrats are scrambling to figure out if they can call him a convicted felon.
That's the key right there.
That tells you that their biggest political pawn. Because if you think about it, Alvin Bragg, all the other cases are kind of on hold. The Alvin Bragg case and the verdicts was really the one in play. And if that kind of represents, if you think about it, the culmination of all of them, in a way, politically, in people's minds. So he's found guilty, and now they're scrambling to determine if they can use their political pawn at all on the left. Because they didn't see this coming?
Yeah, because it's very easy. If, let's say, for example, Trump took a bribe and it was on videotape.
Right.
Would the Democrats be wondering whether they could call him a convicted felon?
No.
The reason is they understand the public's great suspicion that the entire justice system is corrupt in this country.
Well, here's what
it may not be a right reality, but that's the perception that all of it's
right.
And Trump's the only one. Putting Trump and Republicans back in is the only chance to save it.
Yeah. And Democrats last Thursday after the verdict, the whole convicted felon, they threw that down over and over and over again. And the liberal media, and they were celebrating. They had a parade at MSNBC, I think, maybe. And then by the time the weekend was done, it was like, oh, he raised how much money? Oh, maybe we don't use that whole convicted felon thing so much. It's reality setting in. The truth and reality is hitting the Democrats hard.
We've said what the Republicans should do. Just keep going exactly what you're doing. And Trump, do what you've done the last month. You can talk about the whole thing's rigged because now you've got people believing you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right.
Without question because they witnessed it with the court.
Right.
I can't tell you what Democrats should do. I don't know. I cannot be a political consultant for the Democrats right now.
I don't know.
And I've been able to in the past. And right now I'm like, I don't know what to tell them.
I have no idea. Quit?
Quiet quitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just quit quietly.
Right,
just walk
exactly.
away. That seems to be the trend.
Right. I don't know what you do.
866-90-RED-EYE.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You think about it with everything going on with the Democrats and Biden. They have given Trump another chance, and I'm reading here from the Wall Street Journal. Biden may spur another Netanyahu comeback. Israelis thought the prime minister was done for after October 7th. Now they see him as standing up to America. No, they see him standing up to Biden.
Right. But if that's good enough to get you back, right? I mean, that's the thing, is that we should be a strong ally. But Biden's not an ally to Israel. He just isn't.
No, he's not.
And he can say one thing, but his actions tell a completely different story.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.